ayahuasca comes in number one. Someone try to stop me.
You can't go and put your team top 3 every fucking time you win a game.
Number one, your number one power ranked motherfucking team, and this motherfucking game is Gary the Chemist. We fucking coming. We coming. Cooper motherfucking Cup, baby. He's back.
What the hell is cooking?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Week 3 is upon us. 2 weeks of data. Gary the Chemist here. Your commissioner manager of the ayahuasca chemist. The greatest around. Okay, so we got 2 weeks of data. Crazy week, if I do say so myself. Couple of changes we got going on in the power rankings, but we'll get to that, ladies and gentlemen. But first and foremost, let's recap the week here.
Week recap.
All right, week recap. Okay, right off the bat, the ayahuasca chemists going up against the man that we all told y'all who he was. Okay, we told y'all number one of the power rankings. He came off last week a poor showing from the Cincinnati Lights, but this week the high scorer of the week. You know,
They are who we thought they were.
we just knew. So that said, your boy ayahuasca chemist finished 7th in scoring this week. Did not pick up the median win, but that's okay. You know, we knew we were going to be in trouble after Thursday Night Football when our boy Josh Allen let us down, only 9 points. We lost the median by about 4 points. That said, you know, it was a week where our top performers were, you know, we had multiple guys, multiple gentlemen get us about 15 to 17 points. Okay. We feel good about the entire roster, but we'll get that with the power rankings. But overall, no one really stood out. Nobody in the 20s, but really nobody with a terrible performance. Okay. Coming from Cincinnati Lights. Oh my God. Kyler Murray. Oh my God. Got me as a Lions fan. I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared for next week, but we'll see how it goes down. Lions 3 points favorites heading into Arizona next week, but we'll see. Kyler just looked quick. He looked like decisive. He could do no wrong this past week. Bijan looks like the best running back in the league. And again, just to kind of high score of the week, he's multiple guys. Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, Kyler Murray, all of which 25 plus. Next, let's talk about the Mighty Wombats. Okay, so the Mighty Wombats, a man who started off our power rankings all the way at like either number 1 and number 2. Really up there. A guy who last year really went off on a pretty hot streak there. That said, he came off playing the Cheating Always Works. Our boy, I'm sorry, the data out here is looking a little different for me. Okay, there we go. All right, Cheating Always Works. My man Gay, and happy belated birthday to my dog. All right, so Mighty Wombats, we all know his problem right now. No Christian McCaffrey. He's relying on Austin Eckler and Najee Harris at running back. You know he's struggling. Brandon Ayuk, now that the Debo injuries occurred, we'll see how that kind of ends up coming to fruition. I'm hoping Thielen ends up on the uptick. Either way, Calvin Ridley, his top performer, 25 points. Devontae Adams with also a very solid game. What is that, 25? 26, it looks like. Okay, so both of those guys, high scores. 113, did not pick up the median win, but Gideon picks up the dub here. Did not pick up the median win. He scored about 117 points, and his top performer, Rashid Shaheed. Dear Lord, Rashid Shaheed, back-to-back weeks of performances that are really going to carry some people going forward. Okay, next up on our list here, Mr. Bye Week, going up against Cop Off My Hawk. These guys, bitter rivals. I've been witness to it multiple times in person as well. So with that said, bye week went up against Cop Off My Hawk and really pulled out the victory with a last-second skedaddle, a last-second little scurry by Lamar Jackson. Honestly, I thought he should have cut it inside. You can put it in somebody else's hands. You're Lamar fucking Jackson. try to get in the end zone. He might have actually had a chance there. Either way, with that last second play, he ended up ultimately was the deciding factor. But J.K. Dobbins, that's his top performer right here, who's put up a 20 points. 20 points. That's a very solid performance from J.K. Dobbins. Still splitting the backfield, but clearly the man with the yards. Coming off that Achilles tear from 2 years ago, last year he looked a little slow. Lost a little bit of his burst, but this year it looks like it's back. For cop off my hawk, his top performer. Um, yeah, I believe it might be his kicker. That might be back-to-back weeks. Aubrey. He was the first kicker off the board, I believe, and that was a mighty good pick, I will say so. Um, they can't run the football over in Dallas. Aubrey might be kicking lots of field goals going forward. But for him, ETN scored about 15 points as well. B-Rob, a very solid. We got a B-Rob. Okay, next. Let's go ahead and talk about Slide Rid. He says after median, he will be, known during this podcast as Slide Rid, going up against Stack Corrections. Mr. Trevor, the defending back-to-back champion. The defending back-to-back champion put a solid performance together right there. Went ahead and took the dub here, and I believe scored, what is that, 138 points, ladies and gentlemen. So Slide Red, top performer for him. I had to go to Debo Samuel. Nope. It's gonna be Brees Hall. What a great catch down the sideline right there. Very few running backs can make that kind of catch. Brees Hall playing very, very, very well for him. And then Stack Corrections of a solid performance across the board, but he knew he was gonna be sitting pretty after James Cook put up that 28 points down on Thursday night. So there you go. Stack Corrections with the win, with the median, looking pretty good. And then next is gonna go. Sorry, my thing's not working real good here. Dirty Bart. Dirty Bart, a man that many have said I have doubted. I have doubted. He's been pretty low on those power rankings. That said, he came off with another mighty performance, 157 points, getting the win, getting the median this week. Now, that's with sending out Jared Goff and Caleb Williams. Now, I'm a big Jared Goff guy. He needs to play better football, but Caleb Williams did not look too well. That said, his running back stat tandem, Devon Achane, 20-something points. Kamara, do I need to say more? Kamara, 45 points for 44 points for Kamara. He's got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Cooper Cup. I feel for a lot of those people with guys like Cooper Cup, Debo Samuel, AJ Brown, Puka Nakua. A tough week for injuries. So Dirty Bird went up against the Great Gatsby. The Great Gatsby, mighty running backs right there. Saw a performance out of both Gibbs and Saquon and put a very good performance out of DK Metcalf. That said, was not enough to muster up enough points to go ahead and take the median. He scored about 115 points. Okay, next up on our list, the Great Gatsby, another loss. 115 points. Did not muster enough to go ahead and get the median there. His best performer, Jalen Hurts, with 25 points. His wide receivers, pitiful. Guys, you think you hear the names. Jamar Chase, 7.5. Jalen Waddle, 8.5. Not much coming out of those. Amari Cooper, 4.5. Deshaun Watson, the rapist himself, doing nothing. Should make light out of that stuff, bro. But he's just a waste of cash, waste of space over there. All right, that said, kneecap collectors in kneecaps. John Anderson. So John Anderson had also another good performance here. He went ahead, took the dub, took the median win, went ahead and escalated himself along the standings over there. You guys see stands going across the bottom of your scoreboard. But his big, claim to fame, Devontae Smith, what a great game. I thought when Devontae Smith was on the board, I'm not gonna lie, ladies and gentlemen, I was trying to trade up for him. Or maybe I'll mention that in the power rankings, but I texted the man. But I was like, I got AJ Brown. I can't sit here and have two Eagles wide receivers. That said, there's your week recap. No skull fucks this week. Everyone put up a solid performance. Nobody put up under 110. So really good performances across the board. It was a tight finish for the median on Monday Night Football. And your boy, the ayahuasca chemist, finished in 7th. Just a hair Just a hair below.
Waiver Wire.
Let's talk about the waiver wire, ladies and gentlemen. So the waiver wire, not much money was spent. Last week we saw a cop off my hawk. He put down that money on Isaiah Likely, but this week it was a lot of transactions, but nothing that really caught my eye too much. I think there's a lot of people trying to bank in on this Isaiah Pacheco injury. I don't know if that's really going to come to fruition for you. I personally, running back by committee, I would not be surprised if they pick up maybe McKinnon at some point. McKinnon's sitting at home. He's doing what I'm doing. Okay. So because of that, he might end up kind of coming up, maybe making a little bit of a, maybe they end up putting him in because, he knows the system. He knows what he can do. Quentin Johnston, the thing about QJ is that he's one of those guys that, yes, former first round pick. They like the size. They like a lot of stuff that he does, but I don't know if they throw enough in that offense to really make it work. So, that said, just to kind of recap everything I just essentially said there, nothing that really sticks out to me. Kareem Hunt, I don't think he's going to be anything. Baker Mayfield, a solid name. Dewan Jennings, we got that Debo Samuel injury, but again, nobody I'm really impressed about.
Power Rankings.
The power rankings. We're about to get them started. Okay, there was a big shift up this past week. Huge. Really, compared to last week, we really had some tectonic plate shifting stuff going on. And I just wanted to let everybody know that it was a solid performances across the board, but really the injuries are going to play a big role in the rankings this week. A big role. Okay? So why don't we, without further ado, let's go ahead. I got the data right here. Let's go ahead. Let's get to number 12.
Number 12.
Number 12. Oh man, Mr. Gideon, the birthday boy himself. Happy belated birthday, my mans. That said, coming in at number 12, he knows where I'm gonna go with this. We're looking at a man who's real weak at wide receiver. Rashid Shaheed. Now, he's played very well. Very, very well so far these first 2 weeks. But can you really expect that? I mean, the offense was explosive, but can we really expect that going forward out of a guy who's been in the league for a hot minute now? He's kind of a one-trick pony. Deep guy. Stephon Diggs, it's a crowded wide receiver core. Gabe Davis. Oh man, I gotta remember to put up these countdown timers. I mean, Joe Mixon coming off an injury, so that's gonna hurt him too. So he's really weak at wide receiver, and that's because he lost Puka Nacua. I feel for him. He went down against the Lions. It's tough. That said, Jonathan Taylor playing very good. That Colts offense is going to struggle a little bit in terms of moving the football because Anthony Richardson is not a very accurate guy. Going to be feast or famine for my man. But that said, Tony Pollard, I don't know why they don't get Tajay Spears more involved. I really do like Tajay, but Pollard is running the football well. At a minimum, it's going to be 50-50. If not, in the case of what's been going on so far, Tony Pollard's been getting the majority of the shares. So I really love what Tony Pollard's doing. I really, really do. That said, not a lot of depth to get work, to get excited about. You got Goddard, you got Ingram. Like, you got nothing going to tight end. Ingram also coming off an injury. Okay, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen. Why don't we just get to number 11? So that said, number 12, get in. Thank you for playing.
Number 11.
Number 11, a huge drop off for the man. Slide Red. Okay, I know right now he's going with the whole F the median type of, but he's going to be known as Slide Red. Okay, but start the counter. All right, so first and foremost, Debo, IR. That's going to hurt him. Okay, now, not only does he lose Debo, DJ Moore, Caleb Williams cannot throw a decent football. And that's really hurting DJ Moore, a guy I love. I think he's one of the more talented players in the NFL that goes underappreciated. in terms of the backfield, guys like I've been hitting on Josh Jacobs. I don't know if this continues for Josh Jacobs. We'll see. But he's been playing good football. So I've been proven wrong right there. But Aaron Jones, a guy who is a good back, but is already starting to show that they're going to take it easy on him. He did get the red zone touches, which is nice, put in a good performances, but he's starting to really split the carries with Ty Chandler, who's playing very good football too. So he's running the football very well. And personal message to my man: why do you have 3 tight ends on the roster? And there's nobody really to get impressive about. No one really. The bench doesn't look as a guy that's really gonna stick out. Yeah, 3 tight ends. This is not tight end premium league, my friend. Next. Number 10, staying put, the mighty Wombats. I didn't mention it, but Slide Red had dropped 6 points. Mr. Gideon dropped 1 spot. Okay. But Slide Red staying put. So Slide Red. I got him at number 10. Why? Ayuk, Adams, looking good. Thielen should start doing better now that my man Bryce Young has been benched. Bryce Young is terrible. Bryce Young, oh my God, he's terrible. Calvin Ridley looks pretty good. As bad as Will Levis is, he's better than Bryce Young. But the question here is, like, we all know why he's here. Number 10, it's CMC. He's got no CMC, big problem. And with CMC, they're even talking about the fact that they might keep him sheltered a little bit longer than the IR. So we'll see how that ends up working out for him. I think that CMC is really going to bolster his roster, but it might be a little too late. My man's 0-4 right now. Austin Eckler, he's still splitting that timeshare. B-Rob looked mighty solid. Najee Harris starting to split more towards 50-50 with Jalen Warren. And Chuba Hubbard looked a little better this week. A couple of guys on his bench, I like taking looks at, but, nothing to get scared about. The mighty Wombats, number 10. And next. Number 9. Despite being second in the standings, he is number 9 in my power rankings. Bye week. Okay, now, first and foremost, right off the bat, we kind of all know why he's sitting here, down 1 spot at number 9. Isaiah Pacheco. A big injury. Broke his fibula, I believe. He's going to be out at least 6 to 8 weeks. That's a lot of time, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of time. And I know they tried to sit there and do this patchwork job of getting Samaje Perine. They can go committee. It's just not the same. I just don't think it's going to do anything. He's lucky in the sense that he's got J.K. Dobbins sitting there in his starting roster at this point. J.K. Dobbins still splitting the backfield there, but he's looked pretty good. Again, a little bit of hop in his step now. Running pretty nice lately. Singletary, when I watched the game, it looks like Daniel Jones did get red zone touches. Okay, Daniel Jones had at least 2 dedicated QB draws in close proximity to the end zone. That might hurt Singletary going forward. And also the fact that, they're the Giants. They were lucky they were playing Washington. A shout out to Warren, but, bro, the Commanders ain't scared. Ain't scared. Bring back the football team. Ain't scared of the Commanders. That's at CeeDee Lamb. He's the only option in the Dallas passing attack. It's good and it's bad in the sense that you can get bracketed and have a week like you just did. And then Tank Dell and Tyler Lockett, both men involved in a very complicated, very stacked wide receiver core. I do like JSN a lot. So I think he's hurting. I told him before, Zamir White, he ain't it.
They are who we thought they were.
So because of that, we're just gonna go ahead and go to number 8 here, but bye week coming in number 9. Despite being 0-4, a man who has sat down there at number 12 for a hot minute now. First 2 power ranks that came out, he was sitting at number 12. But he's up 4 spots. The Great Gatsby, the former commissioner. Okay, so What do we like? What do we not like about him? You know, Derrick Henry. I will stand by the fact that Derrick Henry was taken too high. I will continue to stand by that. He does not catch the football. He still put up solid performances week 1, week 2. Nothing to get too excited about, but you know the ceiling is there. It's capped. You know he's a big guy. His head's already hitting it. So I just don't think that the ceiling's high enough. And then God forbid they get a negative game script. Ramondre Stevenson, sounds like Gibson started getting more touches, but Stevenson's the guy. Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle. Jamar Chase, without T Higgins there, they're bracketing the coverage. He's swarmed. And then Waddle, when I took a look back, I think the last time, 2022, and two of them missed a significant amount of time, Jalen Waddle did nothing. Okay. Now Tyreek will be fine. But Waddle, nothing. And I was wrong about Brock Bowers. I will say that much. And I just said how much I like JSN. I think that those two in particular are really elevating his roster here from 12 to 8. But you know, you're sitting there, you got Ricky Pearsall, you got Amari Cooper. I mean, it's not too much to get happy about. That's why you're sitting there at number 8. Next.
Number 7.
Number 7. Go Pack Go. No Pack No. Okay. So, like I've said all along, the man has the strongest running back core in the league. Jahmyr Gibbs and Saquon Barkley. Saquon, God knows why they didn't run it more with him on that last drive there. The second last drive, not the drive where Jalen Hurts threw the pick and they were down. But both very solid running backs. And then you know what? 2 solid wide receivers. Zay Flowers, his ADOT increase this past week. DK Metcalf, he got, oh my God, I don't think he's caught this many balls in his life. What was it, like 10 balls? It's ridiculous. Colby Parkinson, now that, you know, again, another Ram down. R.I.P. to the Rams. I feel for them. Multiple tackles, multiple wide receivers. They just lost Jonah Jackson to a fractured scapula. Oh my God. Jonah Jackson. R.I.P. Former Detroit Lion. How do you fracture your scapula? But I do feel for him. You know, that's a rough injury. That said, what do we like about his team? Again, those 4. And then once it goes after that, you know, you got guys like Matt Stafford, Jordan Love's hurt, you know, Xavier Worthy, feast or famine. He's not catching the ball too much. Now, that said, a little bit of an uptick now that Hollywood Brown's out, which essentially Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy played the same position. They're both the guys that were out wide in a team that runs a lot of 12 personnel. Keon Coleman, you're relying on rookie wide receivers. That's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you. Nobody on the bench that's done anything to be excited about. So because of that, Go Pack Go. No Pack No. Sitting at number 7. Which is essentially the same position he was at last week. Okay. So that's it. 2. All right. Why don't we hit the next?
Number 6.
Top off my hawk. Down 2 spots. Back to Bazzy. First and foremost, ETN. Tank Bigsby got hurt early in that game. ETN's not been running the football well. Okay. He's not. I'm going to be honest with you. So because when Tank Bigsby's come back, he may be the red zone guy. And you should be concerned for your second round running back. That said, Brian Robinson is running the football well. And he's caught footballs. He had a lot more routes run this week than last week, but we'll see how that goes forward. They are Eckler. He is a just prodigy at that stuff. Now, wide receiver. Last week I talked about volume wide receivers for Cop Off My Hawk. Now, he misunderstood it as, oh, yeah, these are volume. No, they rely on volume. Okay. Garrett Wilson, 90-some catches, 1,000 yards, like 3 or 4 touchdowns last year. You know, Godwin, same type of deal. Terry McLaurin, same type of deal. Michael Pittman, same type of deal. These are guys that need the football thrown their way because they're not going to book it for a 60-yard, 40-yard grab for a touchdown. Godwin, broken coverage. He had a great play. And like I said last week, I think Godwin so far has looked like the guy that I was most excited about, his foursome there. But Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers looks anemic. When he has to throw off his back foot, it looks terrible. Terrible. Michael Pittman, along with your quarterback, Anthony Richardson there, feast or famine. He's not accurate enough, honestly, for Michael Pittman to really thrive. I think, honestly, Adonai Mitchell. Maybe we'll see how Josh Downs this one comes back. Alec Pearson, the deep ball. And then Terry McLaurin, what, 6 for 20? Jaden Daniels cannot throw a good football. Okay, cannot. But you know what? He's got the best kicker in the league. You know, the best kicker in the league is really elevated him here. Number 6. Okay. Next.
Number 5.
Number 5. They told me give the man his respect. I want to mention Cop Off My Hawk, Dr. Basie, down 2 spots. And then, Dirty Burt Brett up 4 spots, sitting at number 5. Okay. So he's number 1 in the standings currently. And why is that? Because of a man named Alvin Kamara. Okay, 45 points dropped this past week. Had a monster week 1 as well. He's got a strong 4 here in the HN. We'll see how things go when Mostert comes back. But Kamara, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Cooper Kupp, who might go ahead and put on IR. And then what? Jordan Mason, is he going to be relevant when CMC comes back? Pickens, with Justin Fields throwing the football? Kyle Pitts, touchdown dependent quarterback, and then touchdown dependent tight end, and then we got Jared Goff and Caleb Williams in there. That said, what my man has lying in the wake is what's going to really elevate his roster here. Nick Chubb, one of the best running backs we've all seen in our lifetime, sitting there on his bench, just waiting to carry the football, and then TJ Hawkinson, another stud tight end, that should take over just fine. So because of that, I do think his roster is pretty solid here. I don't think it's going to be one that's super scary, to be honest. Still, despite being number 1 in the standings, I got him at number 5 in my power rankings because I don't play that shit. All right, next.
Number 4.
Number 4, your boy, the ayahuasca chemist, down 2 spots. 1, 2 spots. So ayahuasca chemist, what are we scared about here? Over here in the land of the green, we're concerned about AJ Brown's injury. I know they haven't announced IR or anything like that, but it's a hammy. I'm scared of hammies. Hammies scare me. Hammies keep me up at night. Okay, hammies and running backs coming off an Achilles tear. Those are things that keep me up at night. At least when you tear your ACL or something, you're done. But hammies, they linger. So with that said, Kyren Williams, that offensive line looks terrible. Kyren Williams ran second most routes, I believe, and there's so many injuries on that team that Kyron's still going to get the ball. Montgomery, the Lions need to feed the man. Rashee Rice has looked like one of the steals of the draft. He looks absolutely fantastic. That PI at the end of the Bengals game, who was he throwing the ball to? Who? Rashee Rice. Okay. With that said, Wan'Dale Robinson, only 4 targets this past week. We got a couple of guys on the bench that, guys get 10, 15 points. Gibson, Jalen Warren, Wan'Dale Robinson, Josh Downs. I like. I'm looking forward to Josh Downs. And then Deontay Johnson. I mentioned a little bit earlier, but Bryce Young is just, he's terrible. I watched every throw. 1 good throw, 1 slant. Everything else was a check down or in the flat. He was not thinking. He was just brain dead. There was nothing going on there. And all the things he's good at, anticipation, timing, were absolutely terrible. So there you go. Number 4, ayahuasca chemist. We're hoping that we're going to go up a little bit next time. But there you go. Let's get in the top 3, ladies and gentlemen.
Number 3.
Number 3, up 3 spots. Stat corrections. Okay, actually 3rd in the standings right now too. So he knew he was going to be fine this week after James Cook just absolutely went off on Thursday Night Football last week. But James Cook, K9, clearly the better running back than Zach Charbonnet, and then he had a nice little week 2 performance from Marvin Harris and Maserati Marv. JJ had a good showing as well. Kittle with the targets. Now that Debo's out, I feel like and CMC is out. It's going to be the Ayuk and Kittle show. So he's got a very good roster. I will not buy into the Demarcus Robinson hype. I just refuse to. Until Matt Stafford walks up to me, shakes my hand, and tells me who he's going to throw the football to, I will not sit here and try to guess who Matt Stafford is going to throw the football to. Because you just don't know. Okay, you can look at the skin pigment. Lighter skin, you're probably working with some solid information, historically solid. But that said, we'll see. Oh man, I forgot to start the timer there. You might get an extra couple little seconds. So that said, yeah. So I'm not gonna get excited about a guy like Demarcus Robinson. Keenan Allen, he needs to come back because I think he might be the safety blanket for Caleb Williams. It felt like he wanted to look for him when he was struggling there. Caleb Williams, pretty, 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 pretty disappointing guy. JJ is just fine. You don't got to worry about him coming back. And then, we'll see how things go when Mostert comes back. It's going to be a crowded backfield. I am not excited about QJ, Quinton Johnson. Guys like Bucky Irvin. I like Bucky. This is going to be enough to be a fantasy option. Who knows? And then again, Jonathan Brooks. He's sitting there lying in the wake, ready to produce. I personally hate to say it. The back-to-back champion honestly putting together a solid squad. Okay. A man I doubted last week, but he's putting together a very solid squad. With that said, next. Number two, bite in kneecaps. John Anderson. So John Anderson, he's sitting there 3-1, and oh, wow, that thing started a little early, huh? Why don't we give him a little bit of a restart? There you go. You're welcome. An extra 10 seconds right there. But John Anderson, what do we like about John Anderson's team? It's the same stuff we liked last week, the same stuff we liked the week before. Despite losing Hollywood Brown, I still think he has the strongest wide receiver core in the NFL. Despite losing Tua Tagovailoa, still the strongest wide receiver core in the NFL. I went and looked back in 2022 when Tua Tagovailoa missed a couple of games there, and he was still he had like a 29-point performance, a 16-point performance. Like he's going to be fine because he's one of the best players in the NFL. Okay, DeAndre Swift, that's who you got to look at as being a potential problem. Now he gets the checkdowns, but what has he really done for you? Nothing. That offensive line is looking terrible. They can't block for Caleb. They can't do shit. And Caleb, he's not scaring anybody. I still don't like Burrow, but again, man, Devontae Smith, one of the guys that I tried trading up for. I texted by in kneecaps, and I was like, let me come up. But with AJ Brown already on my roster, I couldn't do it. Sam Laporta will be just fine. Dan Campbell came out. They didn't put him in the game plan because they were looking to see how things would work out with his injury. And again, J-Mo, he'll be fine. Drake London, he's fine. A lot of good things up and down there. So a lot of things that we like. But you need to go ahead and drop Hollywood Brown. He's not coming back. He's just not coming back. So why don't we go ahead and go to number one? I think you guys already know who it is. Why don't you go ahead and say it? Yep. The Cincinnati Lights.
They are who we thought they were.
Look, coming off 2-2, you might think, oh yeah, what are you so excited about? Look, man, he went hero RB, wide receiver, had a couple of stud wide receivers they took in, and then went running back in that little mesh pit out of those four, and then really, trying to look for a spot. Now, again, Bijan Robinson might be the best running back in the league. I watch him play. Whoa, Bijan. Him and Saquon. Those are the guys. Okay. Then Kyler. Oh my God, Kyler. What was that? I am scared. As a Lions fan, I am scared going to Arizona next week. How are you supposed to stop him? He could do no wrong last week. Would skedaddle out of the scramble and then boom, would find the right guy. And his wide receiver core is the reason why I love his team. Olave, Nico. Man, Nico. Oh my God, Nico.
Dog.
Just a straight
Dog.
Bro, he's so good to Michigan, man. Dalton Kincaid should turn on too. Malik Neighbors turned on when T. Higgins comes back. Tajay Spears, I love Tajay Spears. I don't know why they don't get him more touches over there. And Darnell Mooney, a very solid performance. Looks like Kirk was going his way. Okay. So, again, that is why we have, Cincinnati Lights at number one. And again, ladies and gentlemen, to your right, to my left, you can look at the power ranks, number 12 to 1. And I just wanted to kind of give a little quick notes. Week 3 coming up. What are we looking at? Okay. I didn't make a week previews thing just yet, because, I got a little busy there. But, Ollie squared going at it, top of the line. Ayahuasca Chemist going up against Cop Off My Hawk. Will his volume wide receivers get the volume that they need to take down the Chemist? We'll see. Cheating always works. The birthday man himself, can he get a birthday win? Going up against Stat Corrections, Trevor, a top 3 guy in our rankings. The Mighty Wombats going up against Slide Rid. Okay, couple of bottom of the quarter people. Number 10 and number 11. Nothing to get too excited about there. We'll see how they do. And then you got bye week going up against the Cincinnati Lights. The Cincinnati Lights needs to go ahead and prove again to me and to the rest of the league.
They are who we thought they were.
Then we got the Great Gatsby, who keeps wanting to go ahead and prove that the Derrick Henry pick was just fine, going up against No Pack No, Go Pack Go, number 7 and number 8, duking it out. And then the Dirty Bird going up against the Kneecap Collector. 2 guys who, Dirty Bird, one of the highest risers in our draft, sitting at number 5, going up against number 2, couple of studs. So with that said, it's going to be a wonderful week. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the week 3 of your NFL football league. Cherish every week, ladies and gentlemen, because before you know it, it'll be slipping away, and I'll be watching the Lions take a Super Bowl dub. The Lions will be just fine, by the way. Just want to throw that in there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful week. You guys can all go fuck yourselves, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.